Okay, so this video, and I'm sure there's more people. I'm sure there's more people that are subscribed to me that suffer from ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease or irritable bowel. It's a rather not fun thing to deal with. It really isn't. And Debbie McClure, who constantly is always, she is so upbeat with her comments to me. She also suffers from ulcerative colitis, and she's had some problems, I guess, and Debbie, please hang in there. I know it's hard and it sucks, and sometimes you almost you lose the ability to just function on a daily basis sometimes. But what happened with me, and I want to say this was about 8 or 9 years ago now, just out of the blue, I got sick, and I was going to the bathroom a lot, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. We had no idea. I just thought it was a stomach flu, or stomach bug. I shouldn't call it stomach flu, but a stomach bug. It lasted about a week, and then it went away. I think I lost like 10 or 11, 12 pounds in total. And then I was off work for a long time because, in the electrical field, construction, sometimes you have periods where you're not working a lot. And so I was laid off and was off for a while. And I got a call to go back to work. And I went back on a Monday. And that night, I got sick again. And that whole first week that I was there, on the new job, I was like going to the bathroom like every 15 minutes. And, my foreman was like, Dave, he's like, I don't know what to do, but we're not gonna be able to keep you around because, you're constantly having to go to the bathroom. And I told him, like, just let me go to the doctor. I really need to stay working because I was off for so long. I can't afford to just get relayed off right away. And so he kind of stuck in there with me, and I'll never forget that because he didn't really have to. But it was a week and a half I went through that, where I was going to the bathroom 20 times a day. Finally went to the doctor. They did some blood work. And of course, at that point, I was starting the decline, where you're getting out of that flare-up. And they diagnosed me with pancreatitis. The reason that they diagnosed me with pancreatitis is because of two liver enzymes. I can't remember what they're called because it was such a long time ago. Were off the charts. I mean, the numbers were like, I was supposed to be 100 count and I had like 20,000. And that apparently is a enzyme that's triggered from your immune system. So I lived with the thought that I had pancreatitis for about 3 years. And I would flare up 2 or 3 times a year, and I'd have small ones where it'd be like I ate something, it didn't agree with me, and I'd go to the bathroom 5, 10 times, and next day I was okay. But the big flare-ups are a week and a half, 2 weeks, where you're going to the bathroom 15, 20 times a day. You end up losing 15 or 20 pounds in the end, which, I didn't mind losing some of the weight because I needed to lose a little bit of the weight, but there was nothing you can do for it. That was the problem, is that there was nothing that they could give me to combat that, because pancreatitis, just they said it was just something you have to go through, and then of course you're labeled a drinker because that's a drinker's disease, pancreatitis, and I was thinking I don't drink at all, so it's not alcohol, I don't know what it is, so then and it wasn't really like we tried to find the reason that I would flare up. It was just, this is what you have, and boom. Well, fast forward, let's see, she's 17 now, so this is probably 5 years now. My daughter was playing on a travel softball team. We were going to a tournament. It was probably about 15 miles away from where we were at. My wife and I drove. She went with her friend because they had to be there early. We went. Wasn't feeling all that good. We got to the parking lot. The game didn't start for like a half hour, 45 minutes or so. And all they had was one porta potty there, and there was a line for it, and I had to go to the bathroom. I told them, I can't hold it. We have to go somewhere. So we went down to Dollar General. Long story short, I ended up having a clot. It was a rather large, dark clot, and I was freaked out. So I ended up going to the hospital. They admitted me. They did a colonoscopy that next morning, and that's where they found the ulcerative colitis, and it was my whole lower descending colon was completely inflamed. And when it's inflamed, so imagine you have a nice smooth wall of your colon. That's what it should be. Mine was like waves, so it was like swollen. And as where I was getting the pain and the cramps, and what happens is that what the doctor told me in the beginning was that I could get an infection, a tooth infection, or acne, or an infected cut or anything like that, and my body automatically goes into overdrive with my immune system, and then my immune system actually attacks my colon, and that's what ulcerative colitis is. So he prescribed Asacol, and that's what I take, Debbie, is Asacol. I take 4,800 milligrams a day, which is 6 pills 3 times a day. Well, I take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening. I've been on it for quite a long time now, 4 years, and it's almost getting to that point where we might need to explore something different. Whether it's Humana or whatever it is, something a little bit different. The problem I have with the Asacol is it's an aspirin-based medication, so it thins my blood, which is no big deal because I have low blood pressure anyway, so it's not like I have to worry about anything like that. And my cholesterol levels were, okay. They were a little bit higher than we'd like them to be, but they were still below the warning signs. So I wasn't worried about that. The problem is when I cut myself or nick myself, I bleed for a while. Like if I'm, trimming here and I catch my lip, I can bleed for like an hour and a half. But, so yeah, that's how all that came about. And, it isn't a lot of fun. And, I actually really wanted to do this video for Debbie, so that, because I haven't gone to any of the support groups online or anything like that. I do have a health coach, I guess, through UPMC, that if I have issues with this, I can call and say, okay, this is what's going on. What should I do? We've experimented with foods, and there are few foods that sometimes trigger it and sometimes don't. And it's very touchy. Italian food is one. I never know from time to time whether it's going to flare or it's not going to flare. So I every time that I eat Italian food, it's almost like you're, holding a loaded gun to your gut and saying, okay, we're going to do ulcerative colitis roulette here, because you just don't know. I have found excessive salt. So if I put too much salt on my popcorn, if I eat popcorn, which I try to stay away from now because of the skins and, the hard part about digesting popcorn. I can't eat nuts at all. I can't eat most fruits, especially berries, because of the seeds. If I eat apples, I have to peel and the skin, and that, to me, that's the best part of the damn apple anyway, so I don't generally eat them. And I have to pretty much stay away from citric foods like oranges or grapefruit or anything like that. And dairy is almost I eat a piece of cheese every day. It doesn't bother me. And sometimes I can eat, a little bowl of ice cream, be fine. And the next time I eat it, and it just kills me. I can't drink milk at all, period. I try low fat. I'm sure I could drink like almond milk, but I've not tried it. It's just too expensive for me to even want to do it. But, yeah, so this video is really just to encourage all you people out there that have this disease that you're not the only one. And, even people, not that I'm famous, because I'm not famous, but people that do stuff like this, we're just people too. And, we suffer from the same things. And, again, I don't want sympathy, because it's just something I have to deal with. It's something that's never going to go away. It does increase your risk of colon cancer quite dramatically, like 35 to 40%. And you do need to get a colonoscopy done more frequently. Of course, I've had 2 of them done now, and I'm not even 50 years old yet. So probably not next year, but the year following we'll probably have to have it done again. And then I also have acid reflux on top of all that, which created Barrett's syndrome. So we have to watch the lower esophagus as well. Because Barrett's syndrome can cause cancerous tumors to form in your esophagus. So I have to be careful with all that. So when I get the lower done, I get the upper done at the same time, so that I'm out at the same time. And, Doesn't take that much longer. It only takes like 5 minutes to do the upper one, and half an hour I think they're doing the colonoscopy. But yeah, so again, you know, and it's not only just this disease, any disease that people suffer from, you know that there's other people out there that suffer, you know, issues too. And I feel bad for people who have like fibromyalgia, that just have constant nerve pain, and, you know, diabetes and all that stuff that, you know, hopefully, you know, people can take encouragement from this, you know, and if it's something that you thought, you know, I can't do this because of my disease, you know, this is something I didn't think I could do because of being introverted, and, you know, not because of my disease, because I can work my videos around flare-ups and everything, you know. And the bad part about my flare-ups is I have to take steroids when I start them, and then, you know what happens with steroids, you're on them for 30 days, so you start a high dose to begin with, and you taper all the way down, and after 3 days you're constantly hungry, so you're constantly eating because your mind's telling you you're hungry and your stomach is growling all the time. And then you put on weight, and then you have a hard time losing it. So, you know, you battle that issue. You know, I mean, I'd like to lose like 20 pounds, but every time that, you know, you start losing it from the UC, you gain it right back from the steroids. And, you know, and of course with steroids, you got to be careful because they can ruin your kidneys. There's just so many things that go along with all these diseases that people have. And, you know, Jay from Boxing Boa suffers from anxiety, and I know these things can be just so rotten and evil. But again, just sitting back and staying positive as the best as you possibly can. You know, I mean, it can prevent some things in life. It really can. Fortunately for me, I don't have it on a high scale level. I do have, you know, left side pain pretty much all the time. If you push, I don't feel it normally, but if you push on that area, on that colon area there, I do constantly have pain. But yeah, so I promise the next few videos will have spiders in them. I promise. One may have geckos in them, but and one may have turtles in them too. I'm not sure. We're trying to get footage of my dog. She's not very cooperative. Yeah, she's not very cooperative at all. You put the camera in her face and she turns around and runs away all the time. So I'd have to entice her up here on the bed with a treat to actually get any kind of filming of her in. And we could film her outside when she's playing in the snow, but that would mean I'd have to go out there in the snow, and I don't like it. But my Pteronochelys species Arusha molted yesterday morning. I found that one seems to be okay. Yeah, seems to be okay. And hopefully next week we'll have some new stuff. I have a friend that's probably going to pick a few things up for me at Tinley just to pay me back for something that I sent to them, which they don't need to do, but they feel that need to do anyway. And hopefully next week I'll have my other 5 new Pteronochelys species, the 3 of the Pteronochelys marinus tete and 3 of the Pteronochelys marinus Mozambique species, 2, right? 3 and 2. Those should be here next week. And once I hear word from somebody about something that one of the bigger sellers is doing, I get the okay, I'll do a video on that for them. Just kind of a promotional video. But yeah. What else is new? Nothing. Oh, there were a couple questions I wanted to answer real quick. Somebody asked me. One, my favorite movies. My favorite movies are Tombstone. I love Tombstone. Ghost in the Darkness, if you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. The Young Guns movies, I love the Young Guns movies. And of course, I'm a big Star Wars fan because I grew up in that era. So even the crappy Star Wars movies to me are good, even though they're not as good as some of the other things and, you know, what people have such high expectations of them. I still think they're good because it's Star Wars. So yeah, that was one question. And the other question was, oh, my favorite color is orange. That's my favorite color. So with that being said, again, I don't expect a lot of views on this video, but, you know, for those of you that did, you know, tune in and listen, thank you. I know you didn't really have to, and adios.